Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Data here. We are back with more breaking news in the NHL as the Calgary Flames have traded Tyler Toffoli to the New Jersey Devils for Yegor Sharangovich, and a third round pick. I'm going as fast as I can. Dabrowski was watching this live from Citi Field. Andrew, buddy, I'm going as fast as I can. It just happened. A 3 and 5 set. It just happened where I thought we were free to the next live stream, which was at 7:30. But no, one more trade has to happen. We are not done yet. So this has big implications for the Devils and their salary cap situation. But I do like this deal very much for both teams. I think I like it a bit more for the Flames. I do love Tyler Toffoli and what he provides at his dollar value. This is pick number 80 as well. The third round pick that's going to the Flames will be the 8th overall pick and Sharangovich. I like both these guys. I think both of them have a lot of value in and of themselves. Let's go ahead and start breaking it down. So the one player on the one side, Tyler Toffoli, he has been a bit of a journeyman in recent years. LA, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, now New Jersey. He's coming off of an incredible season, 73 points in 82 games. I love this deal for both sides, but I love that New Jersey is going to get this scoring in their lineup. 34 goals and 73 points this past season from Tyler Toffoli. I don't like it for Jonathan Huberdeau because Huberdeau needs people to be playmaking with, and he needs guys who are going to be scoring 30 goals if he's going to try to get back to 100 plus points, right? But Tyler Toffoli going to the New Jersey Devils, and coming back the other way will be Yegor Sharangovich, who at 25 years of age is definitely younger. Toffoli is 31. So I like this deal for the Flames longer term as well. He's coming off of a 30-point season, had 46 points the season prior. Wasn't one of his better years, which is why the Devils have to throw in the pick. But the Flames get to have the younger player with the higher potential and the better and the more control. As Tyler Toffoli, his contract only goes until this next season, I believe. So now with Sharangovich on board, that's going to change their organizational abilities. So I'm really just scrambling. I didn't even have time for a thumbnail. I'm really just opening this up right now. So let's go ahead and look first at the Calgary Flames before we look at the players themselves and break that all down. Looking at it organizationally. The Calgary Flames, their current cap space was looking at 5.5 million. So moving out it's already updated. Look at that. So now it's at 5.5 million with Toffoli gone, but Sharangovich is an RFA who needs to be signed. Meanwhile, if we go ahead and jump over to the New Jersey Devils, we see that the Devils, after making this signing, they extended Jesper Bratt. Now they have Tyler Toffoli on board. With all this done, this leaves them with, drumroll please, 19 million, but let's look at what they're actually going to be having, right? 19 million, but Boquist still unsigned, Meyer unsigned, Tatar, Wood. They have a lot of holes left to fill. Now, before they were dealing with over 20 million, but now this does fill one of their spots. It takes up 4.25 million of their roster, which is perfectly fine. This is not a number they can't deal with. They can still re-sign the players that they have to, I believe. And it allows their top six now to be Hughes, Bratt, Nico, Palat, Toffoli, and hopefully a guy like Timo Meyer. Then your third line can be Haula, maybe even Dawson Mercer's up there. So this is a great deal for the Devils in that sense, as a team that's trying to win now. The Devils didn't have much, the Flames did not have much use for Sharangovich. The Devils, I keep saying the Devils, the Flames are not really a win now team. You may think they are. I'm sure lots of Flames fans would like them to be. But personally, I don't think that the Flames are at that spot just yet. They're not far away at all. But if they need money to re-sign Backlund or need money to re-sign Elias Lindholm, they were definitely not going to be able to keep Tyler Toffoli. So moving him now and getting back the value of Sharangovich as an RFA, young guy, he's shown good things, 46 points 2 years ago, 30 points this last year in a bit more of a more limited role with the names that were coming in there in New Jersey. I think that the Flames are going to love this deal long term. In the present day value, the Devils win this deal as they get Toffoli, who just scored 73 points. He has definitely the more offensive capabilities at this time. However, longer term, can the Devils hang on to Toffoli, and what does Sharangovich become on the Flames, right? So those are the two things you have to keep in mind. Sharangovich, I just want to see what his ice time was like before we go and look at the JFresh cards. What a day for trades. Save some for the draft. Absolutely. A lot. This is one of some of the most trades I've ever seen for the day before the draft, I gotta say. Sharangovich, let's go ahead and pull these numbers up. I know his ice time towards the end of the year was definitely a lot different than what he was dealing with previously. So not like he wasn't playing, but look at this: 7 minutes, 13 minutes, 11, 12 minutes, 14 minutes, while previously he was used to a lot more. Rookie season, he was playing close to 17 minutes a night. The season prior, sophomore season, 46 points, 16 and a half minutes of ice time per night. However, Sharangovich. Yes, sorry, not Sharangovich. Sharangovich. I keep forgetting that. That was my Kirill Kaprizov and Kaprizov. Now it's my Sharangovich. Yes, thank you for that, John. So what I'm trying to say here is, yes, Sharangovich only scored 30 points, but that was with 2 less minutes of ice time per night. That has a big impact. So 2 less minutes per night on a team that was trying to push. They were bringing in pieces. He was getting buried a little bit deeper in the lineup. It makes sense that he didn't have the greatest offensive season. Now, with the ability to spread his wings and fly a little bit in Calgary, I'm very excited to see what he'll do. And although the Flames take a hit right now in terms of swapping out a 73-point Tyler Toffoli for Sharangovich, who is coming off 30 points, they will get the better piece, I would think, in terms of long-term help. So let's go ahead and pull it up. Let's first look at Tyler Toffoli, who I'm a big fan of. As a Canadiens fan as well, I love Tyler Toffoli. No rest, buddy, no rest. Toffoli in that 89th percentile. Look at that. 91st percentile of even strength offense, 93rd of goals per 60. Let me just, actually, you can see on the screen here, even though my box is in the bottom left corner. His finishing is among the best in the league. He's playing with good teammates against high levels of competition, great on the power play. And even, you know what, defense is definitely not one of the parts of his game that you would think, but he's in that 51st percentile. He had a big drop-off and then a big bounce back, as you can see by this V right here. 51st percentile of even strength defense over the last 3 years, according to the weighted average data. Haha. So I'd be curious if Jay Fresh has the more recent just per 60 cards up. Not more recent, just the per 60s. Toffoli, Hischier, Bratt, Meyer, Hughes, Mercer. That's even before Timo Meyer. That's the current top 6 for the Devils. Big J, you got that or no? Because if not, I'm just going to go back to what I was looking at. Doesn't look like it, eh? And it's a 3rd round pick, the 80th overall pick going back the other way. Yeah, doesn't look like it. So I'll just go ahead and pull it up. Big day for trades. Looks like the Flames are also watching the Penguins franchise. Eh? That's true. Blackwood and Toffoli, 2 big franchise mode guys, moved on the same day. So if we now look at Sharangovich, his numbers are pretty good as well, and that's with the smaller sample size. In his rookie season, sophomore season, they were even better. They've dropped a little bit for sure. 70th percentile of projected wins above replacement still over the last 3 years weighted average data. Well above average of even strength offense. The even strength defense is where his value drops the most. True, the Canadiens got more in their trade with the Flames. That's true. Well, depends how you look at it. He does draw a lot of penalties. He's among some of the best in the league that draws penalties. His finishing is high. His goals per 60 is high. Similar to Tyler Toffoli in that way. Just that Toffoli has better defense, higher offense, stuff like that. But he's like a poor man's Tyler Toffoli, according to these stats here. A guy who is better in the even strength offense, has good goals per 60, has good finishing. I could see that. That's very interesting. So I like this deal, again, for both sides, because not just player for player, but what it gives versus what it gives. The Flames get to have a 25-year-old who they can have control over for a longer time when they need money. Not this season, but next season. In 2024-25, they can't afford to pay Toffoli his $5+ million that he wants. They need to pay Backlund. They need to pay Lindholm. They need to pay Noah Hannafin if he's going to be sticking around. The rest of their defense as well needs contracts. They're not going to be able to afford Toffoli beyond this year. So this is becoming a trend in the NHL. Teams that say, okay, this guy is still under our control for 1 more year, but we're not going to be able to keep him. Let's just get as much value as we can out of him now, and let's move him today. That's becoming a trend around here in the league. So the Flames do that. They bring in Sharangovich. Meanwhile, the Devils, who don't have as much use for Sharangovich, as he has shown good things, but has been kind of pushed into the 3rd bottom 6 role type of thing when he could be thriving in the top 6, they now have a little bit of insurance. and at a very affordable AAV as well. And they still have a lot of money to spend. They can still bring back Jesper Boquist. They can still bring back Tatar, Wood, Meyer, not all of those, but some of those. They can still do well. And even if they don't, they would still have a good top six, with it being Hughes, Bratt, Nico, Toffoli, Mercer, and Palat. That would still be a great top six right there. So I like it for both teams, and long term, this is a great deal for the Flames. It's a very cognizant deal. It's a very mature deal where it's saying, listen, maybe they don't admit to themselves that they're not quite contenders yet, but they are telling themselves, we're not going to be able to afford this beyond this year. So why waste another year of Toffoli here when we're not exactly contenders just yet? Let's go ahead and move him and get max value back, which I would think they could have gotten more, but I still do like it. Would Sharangovich want a short-term deal to hit UFA when the cap goes up? Could be. Could refuse to sign and take the qualifying offer. Flames may not have him for as long as they hope. That's absolutely true. When deals like this happen and the player is an RFA, and this is always a consideration, I like to think that the team most likely did their due diligence, spoke with the agent, wants to at least know if there's a little bit of interest in signing long term. Obviously, you can't know a ton. You can't predict everything, but I would think that they at least have a decent idea of, we think that we can keep this guy, similar to how the Flames acquired Huberdeau and Uyghur and then extended both of those, right? So you would think. Not much else to say about this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's a straight up deal. It's a solid hockey trade. I like it for both sides. I think Toffoli will do very well with that center depth as well. I think he'll continue on the same trajectory that he's been on. Meanwhile, Sharangovich will increase and go on a more positive trajectory than he has been on. So Sharangovich will increase. He comes with a third-round pick. And then Toffoli, who's more of the proven commodity at 31 years of age, coming off a 73-point season, gets 1 year with New Jersey, and probably leaves after next season just due to money. But the Devils could potentially try and keep him. Who knows what's happening there, depending on Timo Meier and Boquist and a lot of other pieces. But I like it, and there's my analysis for it, ladies and gentlemen. Looking at the J Fresh, the points, the ice time, all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and end it there because this is the fifth live stream of the day. We have our next live stream in 15 minutes when we're doing our NHL 23 simulation of the Hart nominees versus the Norris nominees versus the Masterton nominees versus the et cetera nominees. So I'm probably going to go ahead and stop it there. But I think that's a solid enough analysis. And I think that that is what both teams took in mind when they made this trade. So thank you for joining me for this analysis. We will have much more breaking news as it happens over the course of the offseason. We'll be live tomorrow night for the draft as well. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out on any of that. Thank you for joining me in the chat as well, because I can always talk to myself, but I appreciate the engagement. We'll be live again in about 15 minutes, so I hope to see you there. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will be talking to you all soon. Good night.